As you get older, life takes on a different rhythm. You've worked, raised a family perhaps, and now you may be entering a stage where solitude isn't loneliness, but rather a path to peace, clarity, and personal growth. If you're watching this, you might be wondering if living alone is the right move for you. I want to tell you that it's not just okay to want that, it can be empowering. Living alone as an older man is something many men embrace. They step into this lifestyle to enjoy independence, self-reflection, and even a bit of self-discovery. While some people may think living alone means isolation, I'm here to show you how it can be exactly the opposite. Let's explore the signs that this choice could be the best one for you. Number 1. You value your personal space more than ever. As an older man, you might find that your tolerance for chaos, mess, and noise has worn thin. You no longer want to compromise on your environment. Most men, if not all, cherish the calm of living alone. Maybe you've spent years balancing the needs of others, and now it feels like time to claim your own space. I remember one story from a man who had lived with roommates most of his life. He said he felt constantly drained by their habits, even as he got older and wanted to slow down. When he finally got his own place, it was like he could breathe for the first time. He set his routines, organized things how he liked, and most importantly, he had peace. Now, that freedom can be rejuvenating, especially as you get older. 2. You prefer quiet over conversation. If you find yourself getting more joy from a peaceful morning cup of coffee than from dinner table discussions, it might be a sign that you're ready to live solo. A lot of older men talk about how they've become less interested in idle chit-chat and more drawn to time spent in silence, reflection, or pursuing personal hobbies. For example, one man shared that he used to love being the center of attention in social situations, but in his 60s, he started to enjoy his own company more. He realized he didn't need the background noise of constant conversation anymore. Instead, he found contentment in reading, gardening, and quietly tinkering with old cars in his garage. That quiet allows you to recharge. If the thought of long, undisturbed stretches of time sounds heavenly, living alone may be just what you need. 3. Your routine is sacred. As you get older, your daily routine can become the cornerstone of your life. You know what you like and how you like it, and you've built habits that keep you grounded. Whether it's waking up early to go for a walk, having your meals at specific times, or enjoying your favorite TV show before bed, a routine becomes sacred. I remember reading about a man who loved his morning ritual. He'd wake up before sunrise, brew a pot of coffee, and sit on his porch just listening to the world wake up. But when he lived with others, those peaceful moments were constantly interrupted. Moving into his own place allowed him to protect that space, and he said it made all the difference to his mental well-being. If your routine is frequently disrupted and that bothers you, living alone can be the solution to safeguard those moments of calm. 4. You feel overwhelmed by other people's needs. If you've spent a good part of your life caring for others, children, a spouse, friends, there comes a time when you might feel that you've done your part, and now it's time to care for yourself. This isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. One man shared how, after decades of providing for his family, he realized he was exhausted from constantly putting others first. He moved into a small cabin by the lake, and for the first time in his life, he felt like he could focus on himself. He started learning how to paint, rediscovered his love for fishing, and just enjoyed the quiet. The guilt he initially felt faded away when he saw how much happier and healthier he became. If you're finding yourself worn out by others' needs and feel like it's your turn to be the priority, this is a sure sign you'd thrive living alone. 5. You have clear, independent interests. One of the most liberating aspects of living alone as an older man is the ability to pursue hobbies, passions, or interests without having to accommodate anyone else. Whether it's woodworking, reading, or even writing that book you've been thinking about for years, living alone gives you the freedom to dive deep into what truly makes you happy. I once came across a comment from a man who had always loved model trains. When he lived with his family, he kept his hobby confined to a small space. After moving into his own home, he transformed his entire basement into an expansive train set. The joy he expressed was contagious. If you have interests or hobbies that you want to dedicate more time to, living alone will give you the space to fully immerse yourself. 6. You don't want to answer to anyone anymore. This one resonates deeply with a lot of older men I've seen commenting online. After a lifetime of responsibilities, it's natural to reach a point where you no longer want to be accountable to anyone but yourself. Maybe you're tired of coordinating your schedule with someone else's, or maybe you just don't want to explain why you're spending your afternoon watching old westerns instead of being productive. There's a certain beauty in being able to do what you want, when you want, without judgment or interruption. One gentleman shared how liberating it was when he could wake up whenever he felt like it, grab a beer in the middle of the day if he wanted, or spend hours working on his classic car without anyone questioning his time. That autonomy is incredibly fulfilling, especially if you've spent years compromising with others. 7. You want to grow, reflect, and recharge. Many older men talk about how living alone gives them the space to not just rest, but also reflect on their lives. This stage of life can be a time for deep personal growth, something that's hard to achieve when you're constantly surrounded by others. One man, after losing his wife, decided to live alone for the first time in decades. He shared how those first few months were tough, but eventually, he found that solitude gave him the time and space to reflect on his life, accomplishments, and dreams for the future. He picked up meditation and started journaling, things he never thought he'd do. Living alone gave him the time to reconnect with himself. 8. You thrive on personal freedom. One of the most recurring themes I've seen from men discussing life on their own is the unfiltered freedom that comes with it. When you live by yourself, you don't have to consider anyone else's opinion on how you run your day-to-day life. It's a chance to make decisions, big or small, based solely on your preferences. Whether it's redecorating your living room with that rustic wood theme you've always wanted or deciding to travel spontaneously, personal freedom becomes a cornerstone of your happiness. One gentleman mentioned in a forum that after retiring, he bought a small RV and started taking off for weekend trips without having to coordinate with anyone. He said he felt like he'd finally gotten back the ability to do things on his own terms, something that had been lost when he was tied down by family and career obligations. If you're craving this kind of spontaneity and independence, living alone gives you the platform to live life with more personal freedom than ever before. 9. You want to downsize and simplify your life. A big part of the appeal for many older men who choose to live alone is the opportunity to downsize and simplify their life. As you get older, it can feel refreshing to let go of unnecessary possessions and responsibilities. You might find that the idea of managing a smaller, more manageable home is appealing, allowing you to focus on experiences rather than things. One man shared his story about how he downsized from a big suburban house to a cozy one-bedroom apartment. He found joy in simplifying his life. He sold off most of his belongings, kept only what mattered, and found it freeing to no longer be burdened by the upkeep of a larger home. Now he had time for himself and a clear mind. Downsizing not only eases physical and financial burdens, but it also opens the door for a less complicated, more enjoyable life. If you find yourself seeking simplicity, living alone in a smaller space might be the ideal way to do that. 10. You appreciate solitude for creativity and self-expression. Living alone often unlocks a well of creativity that may have been stifled by the noise and responsibilities of sharing your space. Solitude has a special way of fostering creativity, whether it's through writing, painting, music, or even building things. Without the distractions of other people, you can more easily tap into your creative side and express yourself in ways that feel meaningful. I once read about a man who, after his divorce, moved into a cabin and started writing poetry, something he hadn't done since his college days. Without anyone else in his space, he said he felt more connected to his thoughts and emotions. He rediscovered his love for music and began teaching himself how to play guitar. Many men who live alone find that this solitude leads to greater self-expression, allowing them to explore passions that had been buried under life's demands. If you're someone who's felt creatively stagnant or just hasn't had the space to pursue self-expression, living alone could be your chance to reignite those passions and truly explore your artistic or creative potential. 11. You want full control over your health and wellness routine. As we age, health and wellness take on a new level of importance. Living alone allows you to tailor your lifestyle specifically to your health needs and preferences. Whether it's maintaining a strict diet, dedicating time for daily exercise, or simply keeping a clutter-free environment for mental well-being, living solo gives you the control to create a wellness routine that works best for you. I recall reading about a man who started prioritizing his health after moving into his own apartment. Without anyone else's preferences or habits to accommodate, he was able to focus on cooking nutritious meals, practicing yoga every morning, and keeping his space minimalistic for mental clarity. He shared how this lifestyle shift helped him feel healthier and more energetic than he had in years. If you're serious about maintaining or improving your health in a way that suits your unique body and mind, living alone gives you the freedom to focus on you without compromise. Choosing to live alone as an older man is a deeply personal decision, but if you find yourself nodding along to most of the points above, it could be a sign that you're ready to embrace that freedom. Living alone doesn't have to mean loneliness. It can mean independence, peace, and a chance to rediscover yourself. It's a time to focus on your happiness, enjoy your space, and follow your own path. If you've been feeling pulled in this direction, trust that instinct. Living alone could be the most uplifting, rewarding decision you make at this stage in your life. You've earned the right to live life exactly how you want to. Now, feel free to share your own thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe if you found the video helpful. Thank you for watching.